Have you ever woken up one morning and felt like you were living someone else's life? You go through the motions, you do what is expected, you smile when you're supposed to, but deep inside, there's a quiet voice asking a painful question. What am I doing with my life? If you've ever felt lost, not knowing where you're going, why you're here, or whether you're on the right path, then this story is for you. Because sometimes the way forward doesn't appear when you search harder, but when you finally stop running. Evan was not lazy, he was not careless, and he was not weak, but he was lost. At 29, Evan had what many people called a stable life, a steady job at a logistics company, a small apartment, a routine that never changed. On the surface, everything looked fine, but inside, he felt empty. Every morning, his alarm rang at 6:30. He got up, showered, dressed, and stared at himself in the mirror a little longer than usual, as if waiting for the reflection to say something. It never did. On his way to work, he watched people rushing past him. Some looked excited, some looked tired, some looked hopeful. And Evan wondered, where am I rushing to? He didn't hate his job, but he didn't love it either. Every task felt meaningless, every meeting felt repetitive, every day felt like a copy of the last. At night, Evan lay in bed scrolling through his phone. He saw old classmates starting businesses, traveling, getting married, chasing dreams. He wasn't jealous, just confused. How did everyone else figure it out? He whispered into the dark. One Friday evening, after another long and pointless week, Evan didn't go straight home. Instead, he kept walking, past familiar streets, past familiar noise, until he found himself at the edge of the city near an old railway track that had been abandoned years ago. He sat down on a broken wooden bench and stared into the distance. "I feel lost," he said out loud, not caring who heard him. "That's because you're looking too far ahead." Evan jumped. An old man sat a few steps away, feeding crumbs to birds. His clothes were simple, his face was lined with age, but his eyes were calm. "I didn't see you there," Evan said. The old man smiled. "People who feel lost rarely see what's close to them." Evan frowned. "What does that mean?" The man didn't answer immediately. Instead, he asked, "Tell me, where are you trying to go?" Evan opened his mouth and then closed it. "I don't know," he admitted. The old man nodded. "Most people don't. They just pretend they do." Evan laughed bitterly. "Everyone else seems to have a plan." "They have a direction," the old man corrected. "Not always a plan." "What's the difference?" Evan asked. "A plan tells you every step," the man said. "A direction tells you the next one." Evan thought about that. The old man stood up slowly. "Come back here tomorrow morning if you truly want to find your way." Before Evan could ask another question, the man walked away, disappearing into the quiet evening. The next morning, Evan almost didn't go. His mind tried to convince him it was pointless, that talking to a stranger wouldn't fix his life. But something deeper, something tired of being stuck, pushed him forward. When he arrived, the old man was already there. "Good," the old man said. "You came. That's step one." Step one of what? Evan wondered. The old man pointed toward a narrow dirt path running beside the old tracks. "Walk with me." They walked in silence for a while. "Do you know why people feel lost?" Evan asked. "Because they don't know what they want?" he guessed. "No," the man replied, "because they're afraid of wanting the wrong thing." Evan stopped walking. "That's exactly how I feel," he said quietly. "I'm scared of choosing something and realizing it was a mistake." The old man smiled gently. "Then let me ask you this. Have you ever stayed where you were and still regretted it?" Evan's chest tightened. "Yes." "Then you already know something important," the man said. "Regret comes from action and inaction, but only one of them teaches you." They continued walking. Soon they reached a fork in the path. One road was wide and smooth, the other was narrow, uneven, and overgrown. "Which one would you choose?" the man asked. "The smooth one," Evan said without thinking. "Most people do. That's why they end up where everyone else is, even if it doesn't make them happy." He pointed to the narrow path. "That one isn't easier, but it's yours to explore." Evan hesitated. "What if it leads nowhere?" The old man looked at him and said, "Then you'll know, and knowing is better than wondering forever." Over the next few weeks, Evan kept meeting the old man. They didn't talk about careers or money or success. They talked about curiosity, about paying attention, about doing small things that felt meaningful instead of chasing big things that felt empty. One day, the old man asked Evan, "What did you love doing before the world told you to be practical?" Evan thought for a long time. "I used to draw," he said slowly. "I'd lose track of time doing it." "So why did you stop?" the man asked. Evan shrugged. "It didn't seem useful." The old man smiled gently. "Lost people often abandon the things that make them feel alive because they don't look impressive enough." That night, Evan bought a sketchbook. At first, it felt awkward. His drawings were rough, imperfect, but something inside him felt lighter. Days turned into weeks. Evan started drawing every evening, not for money, not for approval, just because it felt right. And something strange happened. The more he focused on what he was doing now, the less anxious he felt about the future. One afternoon, Evan arrived at the bench and found it empty. The old man never came back. At first, Evan felt disappointed. Then he realized something. He didn't need him anymore. Months later, Evan made a small but terrifying decision. He reduced his working hours and took on freelance illustration projects in his spare time. The pay was uncertain, the path was unclear, but for the first time in years, he felt awake. People told him he was taking a risk. They were right, but Evan had learned something important. Being lost doesn't mean you're broken. It means you're between who you were and who you're becoming. A year later, Evan sat in a small studio filled with sketches pinned to the walls. He wasn't famous, he wasn't rich, but he was no longer lost. One evening, as he walked past the old railway track, he stopped at the bench. He smiled. He finally understood what the old man had been trying to teach him. The lesson. Feeling lost in life doesn't mean you failed. It means your old direction no longer fits and a new one is waiting. You don't find your way by having everything figured out. You find it by taking the next honest step. Stop asking, "Where should I be in 5 years?" Start asking, "What feels meaningful right now?" Because clarity doesn't come before movement, it comes from it. And sometimes, the moment you stop trying to find the whole path, life shows you the way, one step at a time. If this story spoke to you, remember, you're not behind, broken, or lost forever. You're just on your way. And if you want more stories like this, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.